Okay, welcome to the general mentee meeting. The PowerPoint slides I was looking for, like this one is from August of last year. It's like the latest one that I had. So let's go ahead and start with this, and then I have a meditation lined up for you. If I can get this to advance. Here we go. Just make yourselves comfortable and relax. And we'll just start right here. Imagine a beautiful flame within you, a flame of light and energy. And as you cultivate it and nurture it, as you're tender with yourself and as you have courage to follow your intuition, that little flame of light bursts into a great cosmic glow. And it opens up types of awareness that are just simply not available to the material world. So because we start out materially, we think in material terms of what it must look like, feel like, smell like, what emotions might pass through us. And yet, when one ignites that flame to burn brighter and brighter within yourself, you have experiences that are very difficult to describe because they transcend the material plane. They transcend linear thinking. They transcend that which has come before. And a greater level of awareness imbues itself upon your waking mind. You begin to relax in your life because you realize that all is in right order, that everything is flowing to a cosmic plan, that there really is a grand divine design to all things. And as you nest yourself in this great cosmic rhythm of life, you can feel the trees bending and bowing in the breeze. You can hear their song of praise to the Creator, to all of nature. You can feel the grass beneath your feet. You can feel the life force in the water that you drink. You can feel the presence of your mentors and your teachers of light, whether they are halfway across the world or not even physically incarnate at this time. And all of this boils down to one thing. As you're merging any difference between you and higher levels of yourself into one great cosmic individuation of self, to be that self-realized being that started from a little flame of light within you. And because you yearned, because you were enthusiastic, because you were excited about the light, your ardent attention has been rewarded by great inner insights. You truly are whole and complete. There is no separation. There's only oneness. And as always, may the principles of harmlessness and compassion be the ever-constant, ever-present guide of your every intention, of your every thought, and of your every action. And so it is, And so it shall be. It is done. And breath in gently and deeply. And breath out, aware of your physical body. Breath in gently and deeply. And breath out, feeling composed, centered, and grounded. And when you feel the moment is right, open your eyes.
Thank you, Dr. J. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Most welcome. So what I'd like to do is turn it over to Bev. She has a set of the slides and we can show them, but Bev, why don't I just hand it over to you? You do have permission to show the slides if you like, or not. Oh, wait, there's one thing I got to show you first. Wait, there's more.
How are you feeling, Dr. J?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I thought you'd like that. Let me get to this slide here. We have our check-in, we have upcoming events, we have our topics, and then if there's time, a practicum. So why don't we just do our check-in? Start with that.
All right, well, let's start with that. We don't, am I muted? No.
And me.
So, Deirdre, are we keeping you up, sweetheart?
I just about spewed water all over.
How do we know that's water?
Yeah, it is.
So, Dr. J, would you like to check in first, since Marty asked you how you were doing, and why don't you go ahead and then?
Sure. To answer your question, Marty, the wound care nurse comes 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And my wound is really closing up. It's a centimeter less deep than it was on Friday.
Oh, wonderful.
It's only 3 centimeters deep instead of 8 centimeters when it was on March 4th when I came home from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I figure another 3 weeks with this vacuum. And then, slowly and surely, last night, the president of CIHS and my vice chair came over, and we had a lovely little meeting catching up, but I wisely am getting back into the swing of things slowly. So it's an interesting position to be in.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm doing pretty well. On a personal note, for me being a geek means genetically enhanced, electronically knowledgeable. I get the solid state drive for my laptop, hopefully Friday, this fancy gaming laptop that I bought. So it looks like I may be, getting back into my geekdom with my new laptop, I hope. So I'll turn it over to you, Marty.
Okay. Well, I'm doing pretty good. I had to go to the dentist yesterday, so I'm recuperating from that. They shoot you up and my whole jaw was numb.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just trying to get caught up on that. And it was interesting. I worked with Michael today, and it's like I don't normally work with people in person, but I kind of did the like his energy field, and I asked for physical, spiritual, emotional, and I kind of like felt all around his body. And it was interesting. I could feel like when I put my hand in a certain place, I could feel the energy.
Oh wow.
So it was because I normally, we're always on Zoom. And I mean, I feel it when I work online with people, but it was just kind of fun, because when you do it over their body, it was just like, oh, wow, I feel that. I feel something like right here in this specific area.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exciting.
It is very cool. So
Well,
that was fun.
Yeah, and more to come, because we will have more physical offerings as time goes by. So you'll have more of an opportunity to work with people in person.
Yeah. So, but other than dental work and everything else, doing great.
Good. Very good.
D.
Who would like to go next?
I'm falling asleep. I'm so tired. Yeah, I've been working a lot today on my book and also reviewing the coursework for my upcoming course in a couple of weeks. And I just all of a sudden just went, okay, I could sleep now. Mental drain. Yeah, so I'm sorry. I'm other than that, you know, if if it would only not rain when I can go outside, that would be wonderful. Every time I've gone to go outside, it's rained. I mean, I got halfway home on my walk, and it
Rain in Nanaimo? That's shocking.
oh yeah, it's been raining so much. Anyhow,
That's like saying it never snows in April in Calgary.
Oh yeah, they got dumped upon. So, anyhow, there we are. That's my day in a nutshell.
Good. Beth?
Good. Well, I'm doing well. My body is physically feels like it's having trouble keeping up with everything else. Especially like there's a lot of shifting I feel that's going on. So yeah, so I've actually been sleeping an awful lot, which is great. Practicing the advice I give to Dr. J.
It seems like I need to practice the advice you give me more than you need to practice the advice I give you.
I don't know about that, but but I've been, so today I mean, after we did the book study thing this morning, our little meeting, and I spent the afternoon with my animals and a little bit of time in the kitchen and now back here. So it was a pretty low key day for me, and
Nice.
Pretty nurturing to, snuggle lambs and, do that kind of thing. So that's kind of how I spent my day.
Got your own personal petting zoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a gander at that, or the 55 chickens, or the many lambs and ewes and whatever else.
The mini lamb. Oh my gosh, the mini lamb. Marty, did I tell you about the mini lamb? No, so I have one ewe who had twins, and she had a ginormous, the biggest lamb that we've ever had. So these sheep are about the size of human babies. So the human babies. So the first one was 9 pounds, 12 ounces. Or 9 pounds, 9 pounds, 12 ounces. And then her twin was 3 pounds, 11 ounces.
Oh, wow. So it's tiny.
So it's just a little miniature.
Oh, how cute. Will it get bigger or will it stay small?
We have no idea why it's stunted. So it's been, they were born Friday night. So it's been eating and now thriving. And today I let them out of their little jug because they stay in a stall together to bond and whatever. And I don't let her out with the rest of the flock because she's still so little, because they get, they bump the lambs around a bit just to establish their
pecking order.
Right? Yeah. And usually the lambs are pretty, I mean, they're gentle with them, but they're pretty tolerant, but this one is so fragile. So I'm kind of hesitant. So we let them out into a larger pen. And today was the first time when let her out where she was actually frolicking and jumping around like her sister. Her sister came out frolicking. Right.
Oh, so cute.
So I think she's going to be fine, but it's just to watch the miracle of this, giant lamb and this tiny lamb, and how they play together, and and them being siblings yet twins, like it's like a big sister, but they're twins.
Yeah.
So it's just been one of those little miracles.
You'll have to send pictures. That sounds so adorable.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of the focus of my life these days, is the lambs and the farm, and
what joy though
of my personal life. What's that?
Yeah, I said what a joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell the miracle of this is last year this ewe lost her lambs. So this year,
I
think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we weren't sure how she'd do this year, but she's our she's actually been our experience you. And it's kind of so much so that we're not sure that we could sell her because we don't know, why she has the issues that she's always coming up with something, right?
Yeah.
But she's been giving us the things that we have to learn how to take care of sheep because we're fairly new at this, right? So
yeah.
And she's and of course, when she lost the lambs, I milked her all year, so we have this bond.
Oh yeah, then the
like
milking
that,
is
right?
yeah, milking, that's a chore.
But it's like a bond too, right? She thought I was her lamb all summer last year, right? So I have lots of sheep kisses in my hair, and she'd lick me and all those things.
Oh, how sweet.
Nice.
But yeah, she's the one that gives us all the experiences. So
Yeah.
And here's another one, like another first, like most of our firsts have been with her. So very interesting. And just stuff that you just have no idea how to explain. Nobody knows. But anyways, so we might have a new breed of miniature lambs.
I like it. That's very cool.
I don't know. Anyways.
Sounds
yeah, so
wonderful.
that's my day. Been feeling pretty good though. So we can go into, I don't know if Marty will share screen. And Dr. J, if you want, you can go. Did you want to go lie down and join us?
No, I'm good for a while.
I can't share screen actually.
I'll share my screen.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were going to give it.
Well, if you
That's okay.
share my screen, if you want to talk to it.
Okay, we can do that too.
Screen.
All right. So Deirdre knows this, just so Marty, and if anyone's asking. So I did start the let's see here. If I can see my screen properly. I did start the level 1. I had one student, which is great, and she wants to do level 2. So hopefully she continues to want to do level 2, but I'm planning on doing level 2 on May 28th. Okay. And so I'll do makeups with level 1 for anyone who wants to join the May 28th. Okay. And hopefully we can do an in-person clinic here with some grads on the Sunday Sunday afternoon. And then if that runs, then my tentative date for level 3 is June 25th and 26th. Okay. We do have the updated course outline. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I've gone online and looked at it. You mean as far as just, I've gone online and just kind of looked at the changes and, like the different modules and things like that.
And I need to put the new one out.
New. Yeah. So Deirdre and I put one out, and then we revised it once Dr. J had more time to give more input to it. Okay. He approved the first one that we put out, and then we've been working on it together, all three of us, to fill in any information that we felt was missing on the first one. So that now it's even more updated. Yeah. Which I have to put on my website too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Deirdre is starting her group, so she's going to do a hybrid one on May 21st and 22nd from Nanaimo, and it's going to be really cool because with Deirdre, like when we have lots of level 1s, level 2s, level 3s going, it makes it easier for people to pick up the level. If you want to pick up a level 2, like someone could pick up level 1 with Deirdre and then join me in person for level 2 if they wanted, or any like those types of things. So it's so nice to be able to have those level 1, 2, 3s going, on a regular basis. And so Deirdre's got hers starting now, and so she'll be doing level 1, 2, and 3 staggered with mine. And then Dr. J is planning on starting one in July or sometime this summer. So that will and then maybe we can then continue to start level 1 and 2s and just keep those going. So if you know of anybody who just wants to take the course or just the first 3 levels for general interest, right? It's just, they're just really powerful courses to take just as a standalone, those 3 levels as a standalone. So that's module 1. So module 1 is just like a standalone, spiritual growth course in of itself.
And what are the fees? Just so
the fees have gone up.
Okay.
Now,
well, so it's $250 per level.
Okay, $250 per level.
And if it's a Canadian instructor, it's $250 Canadian plus GST. plus GST if you're Canadian. If you're not Canadian, it's just 250 Canadian, and whatever the exchange rate is on the day that you pay, that's the discount.
Where
that you
it's at.
get.
It's
Okay.
77 cents on the dollar right now. So.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it depends on when you pay. So you can watch the market when
Okay.
okay. But anyways, and then Dr. J's are as well 250, but his is in US dollars.
Right. Okay. Well, if I know of anybody out there, I'll let people know. So thank you.
And you are grandfathered in, but the new Mentee fees are higher now too.
Okay.
So yeah, so those are 325.
Okay.
a month.
325, yeah.
Okay.
But you're grandfathered in.
Okay. Thank you.
That must mean you're an old fogey.
I know, right?
Grandfather.
We're all old souls.
It was fair to do it that way.
Yeah.
Well, you signed yeah. So it's whatever you sign the contract at, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Saturday, Deirdre has practices.
New practice dates. Yeah.
New
April
practice
30th.
dates. So just take a note of that. So that's been adjusted. So it's not every second Saturday now. We have April 30th and then May 7th.
Okay.
And there will be a practice with her if her course runs on May 21st. There'll be a practice in the afternoon that you can join her class for that one.
Oh, okay.
And then one on May 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've just left that open.
And that will probably come out on the newsletter as well. So,
yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, I won't be able to, the Healer's Circle, I'm going to be in Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
I know. We're just going for a weekend trip to like go do snorkeling or whatever. So.
Oh, fun.
Sounds good.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Fun.
I'm looking forward to it. It's been a bit since we've gone anywhere.
That's nice. Okay. And then the next Mentee meeting is on the 25th of May.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's that. Do we have any, Marty, did you have any topics or anything that you wanted to discuss tonight? Anything that has come up for you?
No, I mean, I just, like I said, I think just being more aware of, I talked to Deirdre the other day when we had a meeting. It's just being aware of like the collective consciousness and feeling it a lot more has been very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go in town, it's like, you'll kind of have these thoughts and, I'm just like, oh, wait, that's not mine.
When in fact.
Yeah.
What I think what's really cool is to be in a place in your growth and in your awareness to be able to recognize that that's not yours.
Yeah.
That's
been
really
helpful
because I think often it's always been there, but now it's like that new level of awareness where you recognize that that you're perceiving things differently, and it doesn't always mean that it is generated within yourself or whatever it is. It's part of the perception and the intuitive abilities that you're developing.
Yeah, it's been really cool. I feel like my heart, like it doesn't hurt, but it's like feels just different. Did you guys go through that? All the time, right?
Well, and that, and Marty, that's partly what I was kind of alluding to in my check-in too. It's like, it feels like my body is constantly in a state of adjustment to the things that are happening on a spiritual level, like the shifting and the changing. And, it's almost like I'm always weak in the knees, almost. It's kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like there's that fair bit of, and so feeling it in all different ways and having the level of awareness to know that everything's already okay and everything's just adjusting and shifting, allows you to be with that. Right.
Yeah.
It allows you to be present and just be the observer and just embrace the reality of who you are and know that you're not your experience, and allowing the experience to shift and change as it settles down and starts to come into a resonance with what's actually happening on that subtle energy level.
Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been interesting. I mean, good. It's just, you can definitely tell also that there's just like a shift in, the collective consciousness. And it's like, again, when you're away, it's not bad. But then when you go like in town, there's still like a pool, sometimes not in a positive way. But like when you're at home, it's like, you're just, it's way more peaceful and you can kind of feel the changes happening on a bigger scale.
Right. And I think that what seems that is this pull or this energy that you pick up, that's, and maybe I'm wrong, but from my experience, how I'm relating to that is what I'm seeing that seems like it's not in a positive way. I think that is part of the collective doing their adjusting. What I see when I sit in my meditations, and I think I've shared this before, but it feels like the earth is just having this, the earth being herself has its experience is soul infusion.
Yeah.
And the collective, the aspects of the earth, including us as inhabitants of the earth, are adjusting to this huge energy shift as the earth is infusing more of her soul quality, becoming this becoming the embodiment of the awareness of something on a greater level that she's not materialized, she's not represented before. And so what happens when things shift and change, it's just like when you notice when somebody's done, you've done a tube attachment removal, right? And that person that's getting that energy in a certain way will come back and they'll go like, hey, where did my energy source go? And there might be a fair bit of chaos that seems to ensue from that.
Oh yeah.
Right? But this entropy ensues in order to readjust and come back. And so there's going to be, people are going to be in resistance, people are going to be in fear and in chaos. And, there's all of this that's happening because sometimes we just have to, it has to be that way in order for us to come to that new awareness of seeing things in a new perspective. And some of us, many of us go kicking and screaming on different levels. Right.
Our greatest challenges are our biggest rewards.
Yes, exactly. and so there's going to be seemingly negative reactions or responses as people sort all of this reaction out as to what on earth is happening with their world. And it's okay. It's like the teenager throwing the temper tantrum.
And just giving them time to work it out.
It's okay. Those hormones are just moving through you, and throw your fit. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Everything's already okay. You're coming into your own. It's all right. And so for us to be able to hold that space, because we already have a perspective of understanding that everything's going to be okay. We get to hold that. We have the honor of holding that space and not being in judgment. Right. And I'm not saying that you are, I know that.
Oh, no. I know what you're saying. There's a lot of judgment out there, but by letting everyone be where they're at, because they're processing still.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, this is like a big temper tantrum, and I'm just going to hold space until you can stop and get your breath again. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
The universe will drag you kicking and screaming into your bliss.
Yeah. Do you like it or not?
No, that couldn't be the way. That's not possible. Couldn't be that. Then it is that.
Yeah, I still feel it within my family. They're still shifting, but it's actually way better. But I mean, they're still having their attachments.
But we always will.
Exactly. And right? But I mean, at least they're more respectful now, which is so nice.
Well, let's keep up with our conversation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my character on, and then I'm going to go lay down and log in. So I've made you co-host, Bev.
Okay.
So when I try to log in again, you can then block me forever. That's like I tell my kids, honey, if you need anything, never call me. Look at me like, what? All right, so I'm going to let this run, and then I'm going to go and I'll log in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
3 or 5 minutes.
3 or 5.
Okay.
Well, I won't let you in if it's 4.
Or 2.
I shall you count to 2 or 4? I don't know.
You see what you have to look forward to.
3 or 5 are the magic number.
What's going to happen to your sense of humor?
I know, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.
Bye. right, I'm counting. I'm starting the
We
clock.
are the Knights of Knee.
Let me try and log in right now.
No, he's scared. He's scared. We're not gonna let him in. All right, so it's
Not that I don't trust you or anything.
It's only been 13 seconds, so don't be in a hurry.
Come back and fight me like a man.
Oh.
Okay. So
yeah, I probably won't be there this Saturday either because we're gonna go over to the coast for the weekend, which I'm looking forward to as well.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
So now you have to sign yourself out on the other one.
Or he can.
Otherwise, we have to look at two of you.
We can look at two of him. He can be on that one. It doesn't matter. He's host on that one, but he's co-host on both of them.
Talking away and we don't hear a word you're saying.
Yeah.
There could be a whole bunch of Dr. J's on the screen at the same time. I should log off and log back in on every device I have.
Then you can see you had a really successful meeting. I had 30
There's at least a
participants.
half a dozen participants.
I don't want to take my existing character off because it is recording and I want to let it go. So
Yeah.
I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
So you had one student, Bev?
I had one student. Yeah.
Yeah. How about at UD? Do you have people signed up yet?
I have one gal. Sorry, interested.
Okay.
And she has both books. But no commitments.
Okay.
That's the tough part because I had like 6 people interested. And I thought for sure I'd get 2 out of that, right?
Yeah.
And up until after I started, even where the second person ended up not showing up because of family being sick, right? So
this one gal, she's going to be here Saturday morning for a session, and then she said she wanted to talk to me more, so she'll be here Saturday morning, and then I got practice Saturday afternoon. So
yeah.
Do
people just? I mean, it's hard sometimes because it's like, they have to put in the work. It's just, do they kind of just realize that they're just not ready to start?
I think before it was a lot of fear around that there is, it's a 2-year commitment.
Oh, okay.
2.5-year commitment. So, this is why we looked at dividing it up into some modules so that, okay, if you finish this part, you can always come back 2 or 3 years down the road, and as long as it's not more than 3 years, and carry on, right?
Right.
So that gives them the opportunity, and then they can finish that module and wait another 2 years or whatever, or maybe that's as far as they want to go. So it gives people more of an option, and we had looked at, developing and putting some of it online. Some of it we can, such as ethics and the ones that are more discussion and not tools for the tool belt. But then you don't have the time of the conversations. And we, the 3 of us, really believe that students learn so much more from the discourse and dialogue that happens when you're
absolutely
the modules, and you won't. It would take away from the experience of what they are there to learn.
Yeah, because like before, you would have like a bunch of people would go through graduation. You'd have, but like now, mentees, is it just different because you see a lot of them, dropping like flies?
This has been the way it's been with ICT since the beginning.
It's just hard because they're not ready to go on.
Some people come in and they have this look in their eyes like I can do anything, and they get to like level 3 or 4, and they just drop off. Some wanted to go into shamanism. Some didn't think the training was fast enough. Some, it brought up a lot of their stuff. Like Deirdre and Bev can tell you that when we have a husband and wife, that
I can imagine.
Sometimes that can bring stuff up, as predominantly most of my students are female who want to improve themselves, who want to do the work. But sometimes when couples come in, it works out, but other times it can be very, very challenging, because that's the spiritual path is not what you want, it's what you need. So if you surrender to your spiritual path, spirit comes along and says, okay, well, but this is what's next. And so in ICT, we're always working to help the person empower themselves. Some people are, they're just not ready. I had a group in Vancouver, I think it was group 4, and I was staying in a place called Deep Cove. Beautiful, idyllic, incredibly idyllic fairyland type place. And the people I was staying with was also a student. And so to get up to this house was quite a long flight of stairs. And these two women came for level 3. Okay. They brought their massage tables with them. They huffed them up this flight of stairs. And then they went to sign in, but then they looked at me and they said, well, we've decided to quit because we know everything you know.
Oh.
And I you can imagine, right? So I looked at them, and that's why I remember, because it was so startling what they said. And I looked at them, I said, okay, that's fine. But then my mind is also thinking, but well, then why did you bring these
tables
upstairs?
That's a long truck.
But they were waiting for the fight. Oh no, you've got to take it. I'm gonna be. This is the.
Oh wow.
Be all end all. Anyhow, carry on your story, Richard.
Well, it just goes to show you that ICT for years has been a really, really good course. And I think you'll agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's just not for everybody, because a lot of people, they want to learn Reiki, they want to learn the symbols, and that's enough for them, and that's fine. Bless them and go and sin no more. But ICT, the very way it's designed awakens the practitioner. So this is different.
It's very different. I mean, I just finished my master teacher's training of Reiki this weekend, and I have been since 2007 practicing Reiki. But
is Reiki something like? Is that something else that I should take?
No.
No.
In my personal opinion, no. So that's where I was going to go with this. So when I took Reiki, I was shown energy, auras, a little bit of the chakras, but I was not given the clearing and the grounding tools. I was not given the understanding of what the chakras represent. And I was told that, I had to do the symbols to get the energy to flow.
Oh, do the symbols make a difference?
The symbols in Reiki are what brings about the energy flow, right? It's your connection to the higher. Anyhow, and I don't want to be offending anyone.
No, I'm just curious.
When they listen to this, right?
Oh, I hear you.
So
is the energy different though, and you use the symbols versus not using the symbols?
Slow down. When you are connected to divine, it does not matter if you have a symbol or if you have an orange. When you are properly trained and connected to divine, the energy flows through you unconditionally, right?
Yeah.
You do not need to have the symbols and things, right? Or I feel you do not need to have the symbols and things. Let me correct that. So what I did this weekend was I finished my training because I felt it was very important for me to do so. And because there are a lot of people who just want to have something very, very basic.
Right. Something
And
they're familiar with too, probably. I mean, they've heard it for years, so it's like,
well,
oh,
it
they're
has been
comfortable.
around for thousands of years, but when you think about it, so has ICT.
Yes.
But Richard was the one who said, okay, I can put this together this way so that people can understand it. Remember, we we consciously co-create everything that comes forward
Mm.
into our world. When the telephone was invented in North America, it was also invented in Europe at the same time. But who got the patent first, right? When so many things. There was more than one automobile invented at the same time. There was Kellogg's cornflakes, even McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
So it's when the time is right, the energy comes forth and goes, here you are, and how is going to run with this, or what are you going to do with this, or how is it going to unfold? And so when the reason I took it was to finish something I started,
Yeah.
because I believe in finishing what you start.
Hmm.
And what and others may wish to use that down the road. But when I started my path, I had met Doug Horn, who was a student and graduate of
Oh, yeah.
Richard's. And Doug was my Reiki instructor and my shaman. And then I met Brad Krautz, who is also a graduate and student of Richard's. And I kept asking Doug and Brad, like, okay, there's more to this. Like, how come I'm seeing this? Or how come I'm doing this? And how do I put those pieces together? And Brad goes, you need to go and see Richard. And then uh, Doug held a past life workshop, which I attended, and found out about some Aboriginal or Indigenous roots that I have had. And then I did a flower reading, and I think I told you in our
Yeah.
in our talk on Tuesday, I knew then that I would be working with Richard. And so there was certain things I knew, but I didn't know why I was knowing them.
Yeah.
And Reiki can't give you that
Yeah.
in the same way, because I mean, I'm sure there are people that can, like, they can go in and they can take that and they can do the work with it and everything, because I'm not
Yeah.
against any modality, but it wasn't working for me at the
Right.
time. And I needed something more. I needed something that was concrete, that gave me the answers to the questions I was asking, and was practical in a sense that I was going to be able to take it and run with it and use it for myself first, but then for those around me, without having to um, really explain a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that it's scary for a lot of people to commit to something that they don't know a lot about. I mean, it's not just ICT that is out there. There's healing touch, there's
Touch for
quantum
health.
there's touch for health, there's all kinds of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're all right now in the same situation that Richard is in, and they've moved a lot of their training online,
Yeah.
but online study
Oh,
where
yeah.
and
They're not
and
actually teaching the courses like you guys are teaching the courses. And therefore it's just like a videotape of somebody getting up there. And therefore they're only going to get what they're going to get. They're only going to
It's
get
only
for that.
information.
Yeah.
It's
how do
yeah.
you watch the mind of your student and see where they need the assistance, or where you need to adjust your teaching style to help
Yeah.
them to understand.
It was like
Um,
theta healing. Theta healing was, I mean, it was a cool modality, but it was like you don't work with people. You work with the energy, and it was almost overwhelming when really it wasn't safety, because you have to, I mean, it grows over time.
it
I
was,
mean, that's, I know people don't realize what they're getting into, because the thing is you don't actually see it until you see it. And then you're like, oh, that's why I continued. And oh, wow, I'm so glad I did.
yeah, yeah. And I have nothing against people taking the modalities that suit them. We say right from the very beginning, you
Yeah.
know, if you find a guru that works better for you, by all means,
Yeah, do that.
follow
I
that.
love reading all different types of book, because there's so many things out there. And I think that's the one thing I do like about ICT, is that you can read all these other things, but they still all apply to ICT. And again, we're the practice on Monday nights, you know, these conversations, being able to have the resources we have. There's not a lot of programs out there that offer those type of programs, that offer that. They basically say, oh, well, you know, it's like, it's just, they put you in a box.
And when you graduate, what happens?
They leave you high and dry.
Some of them, yeah.
Well, some groups are very parochial, and ours is too, for a certain extent. Like, if you come and study under me, I'm going to say, please don't do any acupuncture while I'm teaching you ICT, because I'm not teaching you how to put needles in people. And
Yeah.
please don't do any Reiki when I'm,
Yeah.
because if you start using symbols instead of what I'm teaching you, you're really not learning my theory, my method,
Yeah.
theory of dominant chakras. So that's why it's always good to be discerning, you know, because like Deirdre says, there's a ton of teaching out there.
We had
And some people are just in the role of collecting students, and that's all they do. And others, you know, we're all different. We have to look at what is our motivation for teaching spiritual healing.
I was going to get you to talk about the the student that came that was doing Tai Chi or something,
Oh, the guy was doing Kung Fu
Kung Fu or
at
something.
Rosemont at Confederation Park.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
he was doing hand and arm movements over the table.
Oh, uh-huh.
And I just urged him. I said, you know, that's not what I'm teaching. So, you know, he lasted, I think, for 2 or 3 levels, and that was it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But when Tim and Thomas were here last night, Thomas, the president of the university, and Tim is my vice chair, you know, I talked about the safety way that Dr. Murayama had mentioned, and actually they knew of Dr. Murayama saying that.
Yeah.
And that in order to grow, there's a couple of things that have to happen. The teacher, him or herself, has to be somewhat awakened.
Yeah.
You can't just read it from a book. So I was telling Tim and Thomas last night, I said, you know, we have a responsibility to continue to awaken ourselves, because we're the only university on the planet that says mind, body, spirit. So if we're not evolved or evolving ourselves, how are we going to really assess students' spiritual development? Now, in academia, they have a term called wellness. Wellness is the term they use that means qualitatively, how have you shifted? Well, it's one thing to take a metric on a test and score a 90%. It's another thing to say, how much have you awakened in 10 weeks spiritually?
So
hard to measure.
So that, well, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
If students hear me say on day one, please watch the mind, and you can be sure that most of them are saying, I'm sorry, what? But if you stay with me for 2.5 years, then you go, oh, I see what he's talking about. But at first, you know, the safety way is the only way that I will teach.
Because you're integrated. That's why it's 2.5 years. I mean, you actually, you start to live it.
Well, but it's a level of responsibility for the teacher. When the teacher is helping someone spiritually, if that teacher's motivation is, let's say, strictly monetary, strictly for fame, strictly for self-aggrandizement, what do you think that's doing to the student karmically?
Yeah, it's not helping a whole lot. It's creating sometimes more karma.
It's a tremendous responsibility to take on a role of a teacher.
Yeah.
And so, Deirdre and Bev are living examples of teachers who are doing it right. So that's why, again, I will say, be discerning for anybody that wants to go out there and learn any kind of spiritual healing. Just be circumspect and look within yourself and see if it agrees with you or not. If it's a no, it doesn't matter what initials they have after their name or how many people they've helped or healed or whatever that it doesn't matter. By the way, for ease of you telling the two of us apart, I've called myself Dr. J number 2 in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, just so in case you got confused.
We have the vertical Dr. J and the horizontal Dr. J.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
So, Marty, you've been very adroit, very focused, very disciplined in this work, and you have the acumen, but you also have the motivation to practice ICT in the safety way. Respect for yourself, respect for the people you work with, being focused in your studies. These are all important aspects of the many moving parts of ICT. And if you just look at those moving parts, you can think, well, no wonder it takes 2.5 years. I have to make an assessment, dominant chakra. I have to get my point across to this person. I have to watch their mind to see if they're really getting it. If they're going like this, but nothing is really happening.
Yeah.
I have sat through classes when I was a student, and I'd be sitting there, and the day would come to an end, and I'd go, "What did he say today?" And then I'd go home with my CD on Sunday, and I would put it in, and I'd listen to it and go,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, right?"
Yeah.
What in the world is this guy talking about?
Sometimes there is so much information that you learn in a weekend, or then it was pretty intense, for me anyhow, that it would take me 2 or 3 times of listening to those CDs to really comprehend what we were talking about. So this is why it's so beneficial for you to, have the recordings and be able to go back to them and to, when you're, working through something, go, oh, I remember the conversation we had about that here. And you can go back and you can, listen to it again. I don't know how many times I drove here from Alberta, 10.5 hours, with CD after CD after CD in the even you and I driving
Albert,
back.
yeah, Albert did too. Albert was a periodontist in Calgary, and he had a summer home in Invermere, west of Alberta in British Columbia. And he would tell me stories about how he would just put a CD into the player and just listen to one of the levels, as he took the drive over there. I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. But you hear more. And of course, I fully understand that if I make a recording and I hope students will listen to it, that about 90% of the students won't, maybe because of time constraints or maybe because they've already got it. But at least, in the days when, there was a time I was making tapes for everybody.
Oh, wow.
Then we transitioned to CDs. Then we transitioned to Dropbox, right? And so it's been a lot more convenient, but the lesson is the same. These things are recorded for the students' benefit, because some of the things we talk about is like reading Eye of the Lotus. You might not get it on the first pass. I asked Deirdre and Bev to hold up their books this morning when we did our book study. And, Eye of the Lotus is been very, very well read by both of these young ladies. And, and they will be the first to tell you they get something new when they reread it.
Yeah.
Oh, my I Can Relate is starting to fall apart. But it's true, and now I have pages earmarked or highlighted, and when I went through it, I wrote all over it, and things like that. And then
Yeah.
as the program developed, both Bev and I have taken notes from classes as Richard changes things and written them into the book,
Yeah.
so that when we do the study, we go, oh, and we've learned that this actually is also this, and this, or can represent this, and this. And so having those things to go back and to listen to and reflect on, is really helpful. And of course, even since we've done the last recordings of I Can Relate, I know of 3 things that Richard has emphasized more on. And so it's like an ever evolving,
Yeah,
Always changing.
especially level 5.
yeah, you know.
Level 5 could easily be 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, I
There you
remember
go.
when level 3 was 1 day.
Oh yeah, and then you'd see people wilting because I would lecture for about 6 hours. I mean,
Wow.
like we'd have like 6 CDs or so, audio CDs of the lecture. And of course, here I am, the idealist, like, oh yeah, they'll listen to the lecture again. Uh-huh. Well, but that's okay. I mean, if they have it, it's better to have it and not need it than the other way around. So the point being that, every time you go to the well, you can get something more out of it. Like people say, well, why do you read in the book study? Why do you actually read the paragraph? Well, because it's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
We read this paragraph and then Bev might say, okay, I want to make a comment on that. Or Deirdre might say, okay, and I have an observation as well. So then, by doing this, we draw more and more out of the words based on our experience.
Yeah.
From having done this work. I mean, you realize how many students Bev and Dee have shepherded through the many groups, just Calgary, not to mention Deirdre shepherding groups through Chicago, San Diego, San Jose, not just
Vancouver.
Calgary, Vancouver.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of experience of working with people spiritually.
Yeah.
And so if these two are still getting more out of these books today, it behooves a person to say, okay, well, let me go back to the well and maybe I am inspired with more information.
Well, that's too, because like when I first read the book, you were at this place, but your perception changes because you grow and expand and you have a better understanding. And it's just like, oh, wow, I can see this a lot more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm still growing too.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
still
always changing.
learning. The things, that book was published in 2004.
Wow.
And I can relate in about 2008, I think, Dee. And I'm still learning. I mean, as I'm writing the book of healing, I'm just putting everything I know into it. It's like, think of it as rewriting Eye of the Lotus for healers.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing because I mean, it's true. I mean, that's what I find exciting. I like to go back and listen because you hear so much, or you hear or see or read something that you just didn't catch before because you just weren't at the place to be able to comprehend it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know what is really a lot of fun is when you're teaching and you're working with the minds of the students in front of you, and you're working with the material, and you're blending everything together, because when you're teaching, you're tuning in to that 95%.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're going through the class, you're going, oh, this class is going to need more of this. Oh, this class is going to need more of that. And so now you're kind of being guided from watching the minds of the students where the classroom's going to go. Well, you can't do that with an online pop-up frame,
Yeah.
watch this video, right?
Well,
No.
yeah, not with a talking head, like something pre-recorded.
But Zoom you can, because you're there and you're present. You have the energy. But yeah, that person isn't active, so you don't have that energy interaction. I mean, you have the energy that they're projecting, but you don't have the symbiotic relationship between the two, because they're just speaking, and so you're not getting the connection.
Now, there's advantages to working in person too, but in academia we call it formative assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Formative assessment means as you go along, you're gauging how the student is benefiting from the material. So if you're a karate instructor, you're going to be watching your students' form and composition. If you're a spiritual teacher, you're going to be watching how they are actually awakening in the safety way. So we had and granted, being physically there's a lot of advantages. There was a woman student in Families Matter, and this was like level maybe 1 or 2, maybe I'm thinking maybe 3, and she was working on somebody on the table, and they like had 3 students around the table working on a student that's on the table. And so I noticed that she was ungrounded, so I walked over and I touched her on her calves, the backs of her legs, and I pulled her all the way back down in her body. So the next time she did a healing, she got very flush, very red, very flush. And I said, do you know why you feel that way? She says, no. I said, because now you're actually grounded. Now you're feeling the power moving through you.
Yeah.
And that's just something that you just can't learn out of a book.
Mm-mm.
And so that's why teaching online for me has always been something of I have to be very watchful and very careful, so that even when I was working with you starting out, I'm constantly watching to see how you're doing, how it's assimilating and integrating into your being.
Yeah.
Again, this goes back to the responsibility of teaching it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Safely.
No, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's been a wonderful journey. I'm again, I'm looking forward to all the modules.
Yeah.
Even after graduation.
Well, there will always be more. So I hope you will hang out.
Oh, I'll definitely hang out.
I foresee a lot of meetings with just the 4 of us.
You know what? I think it's great though. I mean, I feel great. I feel very fortunate. 5, that's right. We can't forget the
5 of us.
Don't forget the vertical, Dr. J now.
Yeah, me and my other brother, Daryl.
Sorry. I think I'm tired. I think that's my whole problem.
No, I know. I'm a little tired too, like I said. And Delaney, I don't know what her deal was. She was up all night last night. So she was like pacing around, and she was ticked off.
That's funny. Yeah.
So I've been telling her I'm not going to turn her movie on, but at 1:00 I turned it on for a little bit because she was just not going to go to sleep. So then I turned it on and sat with her for a little bit. And I think after about 45 minutes, she went back to sleep. So.
Well, Marty, do you have any other topics or any questions thus far? Anything that's come up that you'd like to chat about?
I can't think of anything right now. I did have a question earlier, just you guys as instructors, is more probably for Dee and Bev, is so when you guys were students versus the teacher, and I guess that's the expanding of the mind and awareness of like the students that you, like when you were the student, and now you're having to watch the minds of the students, how that changes and shifts. I mean, that's kind of interesting. And does it get distracting? I guess being as topos, you just understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
It takes practice.
It does take practice. Yeah. To be able to watch the mind of the student and the mind of the person that the student is working with, or the
Right.
mind of the entire class.
Yeah, that's what I
And,
was thinking.
you know,
the
so when
entire class.
when you're holding space for, you know, a class of, you know, 10 or 15, that's, you know, even different then.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you know, when we were doing the practices, and there would be, well, I think we had 15 in one afternoon, and you're kind of overseeing everything. So your mind is connected to oversee everything, and
Yeah.
you're just listening in your mind at that level.
Yeah.
And then as you're at a table, that is going on in the periphery, and you're concentrating while you're at the table on the 3 or 4 students that are around that table and the person on the table. And then something will pop up back here, and you have to turn and you have to look to see, do I need to go there or not, without breaking the energy of what's going on here. And so it does take a little bit of time. I think it really teaches you to be present in the moment.
Oh, I bet.
And to be grounded.
Yeah.
You must be grounded.
But it's
You
but
gotta,
it's
you
very
gotta
much.
watch. Sorry.
Go ahead, Dr. J.
You got to watch your students carefully, because, you know, I can lecture on some very deep stuff, but if their eyes are glazing over, it doesn't do me any good. You know, I
Yeah,
might
they're
say,
not retaining it.
everybody stop for a second and take a deep breath, you know, because everybody has their own personal life. Like, did I feed the cat? When do I have to be home? My husband's working, you know, so there's all these things that go into being a really good instructor. But the spiritual part is that being as topos.
Yeah.
The spiritual teacher then becomes that level that draws people who are aspiring to that level.
Mhm.
The same thing I told Thomas and Tim last night is we have to be those people that are spiritually aware, so that when the students come to us with their really hard questions, they are taking a psychic relationship to what we've chosen to represent as being as topos. So maybe we're not Dr. Murayama and floating up off the deck for 10 centimeters, but we all are source.
Did they get it?
Yes.
Good.
And we are all source, and we have what we call levels when there are no levels, but we do have these
Shifts.
These forms of awareness that imbue themselves into our daily waking consciousness. So you have to be half theta, half maybe beta, because you have to be in a kind of a higher state when you're teaching, and know that you're in a higher state.
Mhm.
But not in a phenomenological or materialistic way, like dude, I'm like so evolved.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
You just have to really teach from the heart, but you also have to use your rational mind, because if you can't help them to learn something, not what you're teaching, but what are they really learning? Formative assessment means, how do you help the student to learn? And then you ask them, okay, what did you learn today? And it might not sound much like what you taught.
Right.
That's why you have to really, really watch and be careful for that person's spiritual welfare, because they become vulnerable. And you know, it's a sacred trust, but the 95% goes on whether they're aware of it or not. So if they're vulnerable to their own inner Christ, you know, it's going to happen. But it will be circuitous. It won't always happen in a straightforward way. That's why students lose steam at level 3, 4, 5, because they're expecting something to happen.
Yeah.
and why they drop out at level 10 because they're scared out of their gourd that
About what is going to happen.
Right.
And when it is time for something to happen.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
What I was going to say is it when you're the difference between working with, one person and then working with a classroom or with a space. And I think that's one of the things that we can go into when we're doing that, creating and holding sacred space level that we're working on. But it's the same principles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that beholding the meadow principle.
Yeah.
Where you're looking at the whole being on the table, but now you're stepping back and now you're just looking at the whole of the group. You're looking at the whole. So, instead of looking at the one individual chakras on 3 levels, now you're stepping back and you're looking at all individuals on.
You're feeling the energy of the room.
And their chakras on 3 levels.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 99 chakras.
So you're looking at all the chakras, but it's how is that all working together? And so it's like you're observing the entire room as its own, as an entity or its own being, right?
Yeah,
so
like
hold and observe that. And so what's called to you, that's what you're working, but you're holding space with the whole thing, just like you're holding space with the whole being that you're working with an individual, right?
It's kind of like when we went to a wedding, and it's like you could see the dynamics of the whole room and the energy exchanging and interacting, and you were just kind of watching it and going, wow, this is an interesting show. So it's kind of like that, because you can feel the energy of the people and their movements, and you're just kind of like sitting back, observing, and then seeing where you need to fill in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Deirdre and Bev went through teacher training. They didn't just graduate and say, I'm an instructor. We went through teacher training, and I have to tell you.
They were awful students.
I have to tell you, and they're going to smile when they hear this. When we got to the point where we were doing practice and working on people on the table, you're a teacher. So you've got students working on someone on the table. In this case, it's other teachers in training. So I would throw curveballs based on the personality of the particular instructor to be, right?
Oh, that one.
And oh my God, some of them took umbrage.
Oh, wow.
Would believe, because I structured my guidance and my questions in such a way to see how they'd handle it.
Oh, you challenged them.
Well, there's all types of students.
Yeah.
All types.
But I can't have someone teach that I can't trust to do it well.
No, because they have to basically, again, you have to not be attached to the light or the dark. You have to be neutral in all situations.
It was funny because
we had a teacher
because I recorded it, right? I had a video camera and I was recording, and some of them
I thought she was coming over the table and gonna kill him.
Oh, wow. I bet that was entertaining.
No, it was. It wasn't. It was.
Well, I have to know. I have to know what is the character of an instructor before I let them be an instructor, right?
Oh, was that like her ego coming out, where she thought that she was?
The instructors represent me.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, the stuff really came up.
Wow.
Yeah.
You must have been watching that recently for that to
No, I just remember being there going, okay.
I don't want you to represent me.
Well, and it was, I remember that situation, and I remember Bev going to this particular person and saying, it's role playing. It's okay.
Right.
Please don't take this personally. And they couldn't do it.
Yeah. Some people just can't. It doesn't matter how hard, they're just not there yet.
I mean, I could play the game of saying, did I push too hard? Was I too harsh?
No, you weren't. You got to know if they're teaching.
I got to know.
You got to know. You can't let them loose if they're going to take it personally, because that's then everybody feels it in the class. Then all the students feel it, because it's an energetic energy that resonates.
Well, and as an instructor, there's going to be times, and I know that Richard can attest to this, and we've witnessed it. There's times, time and again, where you will be personally challenged. You will be directly personally challenged, and you need to be able to not take it personally. You
Or
need to be able, or engage. You need to be able to maintain your balance, maintain your center when it's not role playing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can't do it when it's role playing, then it's time to just to grow a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. But because
They
when
a long
because
time,
that
though.
is really going to happen.
They spent a long time in teacher training. It wasn't overnight.
Yeah.
I constructed a thing that was wasn't it almost 2 years?
It was almost 2 years.
Well, it was pretty much like the whole course again.
It was.
I mean, it wasn't the whole course itself. It was the length of the whole course.
Yeah, from the standpoint, sorry guys, I'm just messing with my camera. From the standpoint of how would you teach this?
Yeah.
And then we would have the instructors actually teach a level to the rest of the group. You guys remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, hot miking it. That was yeah.
And some students
Putting us on the spot.
Yeah.
Some students froze up and some were flying colors.
Yeah. It was like Bev's graduation exam. Oh, sorry, Marty, got that coming. It's really hard. So yeah. So my question to you is, all right, we're going to be moving along here, you and I, in a couple of weeks onto your next level, and you've only got like 3 to go. What are you doing about your graduation?
I'm gonna go down to Vista and have it with Dr. J.
Awesome.
With and my husband's gonna come with me.
Yay.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
You're okay with that, right? And then hopefully we can go out to dinner with you and Michelle.
Of course.
If you're feeling up for it.
Of course I will be.
Okay.
What is your next level? Is it 16?
I'm taking 16 on the 10th of May.
Yep.
So Tuesday the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're doing level 16.
Maybe I'll sit in for a little bit of that.
Yeah. And
see how Deirdre does,
And then we're going to do the advanced the new mediumship and channeling class for her. And then she'll do karma and reincarnation, which I have never taught. So
okay.
But that Richard will be back online by then. You'll probably won't be doing that till probably September.
Well, yeah, and I was telling Thomas last night I'm going to teach in the summer quarter at CIHS Karma and Reincarnation, and I'm going to teach another course called Motoyama Philosophy and Practice. And that second course was at the behest of the Jinja, the Japanese board. When I went there in 2018, they wanted to know if students were going to be exposed to Dr. Motoyama's philosophy, so they knew why CIHS exists in the first place.
Nice.
So I took that on, and I think I've taught it 3 times already. So, for you, as far as karma and reincarnation, we started out with like 180 slides, and Deirdre has assiduously been going through those slide by slide by slide to clean them up, but it's still going to take a while to really get it. It's not going to be a quick class.
You're looking at August or September graduation.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How cool is that?
It's so exciting.
Look at you, Marty.
I know.
It hardly seems like it's been 2 years.
I know.
So
it's like
level 12 tomorrow with Deborah.
Oh, nice.
We're doing acetone.
What time?
She and I start at what time am
I think it's 8 a.m. your time.
I think it is 8 my time.
Oh, because of the 3-hour time difference.
Because of the 3-hour time difference. Yeah.
Maybe Deirdre will let me sit in on that one too.
Yeah.
I liked the axial tonal alignment. That was a very cool class.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Did you and I do that, or did you and Richard do that?
I did that with you, actually.
Yeah, in December or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, awesome.
So,
well,
no, I'm excited. So, like I said, I'll be with you guys, I'm sure, for the next couple of years.
Great.
Awesome.
Do you have anything else topical that you wanted to bring up?
Topical.
I don't think so. I know, topical.
I didn't say tropical.
Topical.
Like a topical, like an ointment.
like topos.
No, I don't think so. Just excited. This journey has been amazing. Just observing everything. And, like I said, it was interesting working with people on Monday night. I talked a little bit with Deirdre because it was just interesting, seeing people's energy and changes and, and then two insecurities that, that you realize that you still have within yourself that you become aware of, that you're letting go of, but it takes a little time, little by little.
It does.
Yeah.
But the key phrase was little by little.
Yeah.
You are doing it.
Yeah.
And you recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I got blown out of the water on Monday night by one of the people I worked with. She's in a very bad way with tinnitus and other stuff going on. And as soon as I got into the breakout room, I started to feel nauseous. I thought I was going to pass out. My body temperature raised. It was incredible. And I went, I'm feeling exactly what I felt every time I was in San Jose. And remember how I used to do that clearing of, whenever I went down to UCM, I would wind up doing some clearing on somebody and wind up doing this huge purge on my body.
Yeah.
So that Monday night, this lady, as I'm working with her, I'm going, okay, I know what this is. I've had this happen to me twice before. I know what's going on. And she was full of toxins, just full of toxins and toxins.
So as a teacher, what did you do about it?
So after I cleared her biofields and got rid of all of the junk that was there so that I could actually look properly at what was going on, I could still see attachments to the different chakras. I could see where they were out of alignment. And I knew that I didn't have time to do it all. So I called in my guides and asked for the highest help that was possible to come in. Actually, I asked for Jesus to come and work with me, because I knew that if we didn't get this stuff cleared, that it wasn't going to go anywhere. And a lot of it was because of such great, deep-rooted fear. Just
so sad.
So deep-rooted fear. And not having, I think there was two others that came up, not having family, or be able to talk to family without being dumped upon or chastised, or my life is bad because of you, like not taking on her family, not taking on responsibilities for their own actions now that they're adults, right? So it was very interesting to work with that energy, to move it and to clear it, but to give her the tools afterwards about, you know, setting healthy emotional boundaries, giving her the emotional release techniques and talking about that kind of stuff. But afterwards, I had to clear. I had to go outside. I had to stand on the grass because I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to be functionable. And then Tuesday, I fasted all day. I was a day of fast because I knew water and clearing my system. I had to do it. I could feel so much energy still there. Yeah, it was crazy. It was really cool. It was like when you went to Dr. Modiyama that time, you know, with all that karma that came on.
Oh yeah.
Like it felt like it felt like it was the right match because it was making me stand in my power and making me understand myself. It was the right match because it made Robin really ground. Made her really ground because she didn't know what was going on. She could feel the energy, and she just, so it was good. It was really a very good teaching opportunity on so many levels. Yeah. So I hope she comes back next week, but we'll see.
Yeah. That's the part that's hard, is that, you know, sometimes some people have so much torment, but you can't do it for them. They have to want it.
Yeah, and this was a lot of medical stuff too. Like, and you
Yeah.
can't prescribe or diagnose, right?
Yeah.
But I could say, are you on medication that is not agreeing with you because
Whoa.
your body feels poisoned?
Yeah.
And we have to be careful what we say.
Yeah.
Right? If I say you're poisoned, I'm now saying this is something that is actually happening. But if I say I feel like,
Yeah.
or I am feeling, or I am sensing, then you're taking yourself one step out of the, because you can't prescribe or diagnose.
No.
And you can't, you know, naysay somebody's medications, but you can say, you know, I'm observing that maybe there's a medication that's hard on your body in other areas. For whatever reason, you have to be on the medication, right? So these are the side effects, or these are the other things that are going on maybe as a result of that medication that we can work with. Because you're not going to advise anybody to go off their meds, right?
Oh,
So
no.
No.
you have to be very careful that we don't say that,
You
right?
could open yourself up to litigation.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
But oh my gosh, meds cause so much brain fog.
What's that?
I said meds cause so much brain fog.
Well, and clogging of like the detox organs and stuff like that. Like I've just seen a lot of you know, a lot of effect on, you know, liver and kidneys and stuff like that from medications that people have been on.
Yeah, it's sad. It's like, you know, they don't want to deal with the emotion that's causing the problem in the first place. So then they get on something to mask the situation.
Well, and not always is it that they don't want to deal with it. They go to the
No.
doctor looking for help, thinking that the doctor's going to help them deal with it. But Western medicine isn't always,
they don't ask questions
in that, right?
Yeah.
And you have to sometimes find someone who looks at the whole picture, right?
Well, functional, it's difficult to find functional medicine right now.
And that's it.
And it's, you know, I think that that's a way we're going, but I think that it's taking some time.
It's slow.
Yeah.
But with the buzzword integrative, you know, now in every aspect of our culture, whether it's business, sports, or healing, it's coming.
Yeah.
Coming, you know, the like I say, when you look at your cell phone or your iPad, those are just called externalizations of where our consciousness is right now, that unites us and helps us to bring all this information to ourselves. And eventually there'll come a time when we don't need any of that.
Yeah.
We won't need the technology. We'll just simply be.
We'll be back to where the Maya were how long ago?
We'll
Right?
be back.
I'm reading a telepathy book right now.
Well,
Just, I got to make sure I got to hone in all those skills to be able to communicate better with Delaney.
we
And I'm going to be traveling with her in the astral dimension too. So, those are the things I'm working on.
Richard and I
Great.
used to do this to each other
Yeah.
all the
Oh, yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm done.
Yeah, I know. I'm tired too.
Yeah, I think that everybody feels like a nice deep rest is in order, some unwinding and resting.
Yes.
Mhm. All right, so why don't we bring our little meeting to a close then?
Okay.
I think that would
Sounds
be a
good.
good idea.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
It's good seeing everybody.
It is good seeing you. So, take this knowledge with you and apply. And 95% of this was on some beautiful, higher, elevated level of our being. And I am recording this, so I will, put it up, and I'll send it to you guys right away. But I'll make it available, of course, to all of our healers, and hopefully, they will listen to this dialogue and get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. I love you
Thank
guys.
you. Love you guys.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.